Welcome to the 2350 Effect.
Happy Sunday, everybody. And if you're out there and it's your Monday, happy Monday as well. Welcome to the 2350 Effect. I'm the co-host of the 2350 Network, the 2350 Effect, the Virtual Wellness Experience, and the upcoming Professional Work-Life Balance Summit. I'm Damian Kinsey, and I'm often joined by my co-host collaborator, Dr. Farron. Dr. Farron isn't here tonight, but we have so many great individuals and guests who are with us to talk about yes, the recap of the virtual wellness experience. Those people that don't know what the virtual wellness experience is, it was a 2-day conference centered around all things wellness. And we have so many amazing presenters who made that possible, so many amazing individuals who showed up for it and came out. And we wanted to do, as we do always, have a recap conversation. And thank you for those people who are in the chat and in the comments. Please continue to put yourself out there so we can continue to talk. Thank you for joining us, Kinga. Thank you, Kenny. The great part about Kenny is Kenny reposted, and he also reminds me of my own event. So I thank him so much for that as well. He's a very good person and out there. He's always supportive. Jackie Holberg, who's in the chat and also in the backstage, and we'll see her in a moment. Leanne, thank you for joining us. Just said, thank you for joining us. Christy, who's a 2350 member, thank you for joining us. And those people out there, periodically, we're going to jump into the chat, follow up, and reach out to you. And keep putting those comments in the chat. Share this with any individual who can find joy in this conversation, because we have so many things going on during this conversation, and this hour is going to fly by quick. Leslie Flowers, who's in the comments and also backstage doing dual support. She was one of our gold member gold member sponsor, Jackie Holber, who was a vendor of the virtual wellness experience. And with that said, since I'm not flying solo and I have so many amazing people in the background, in the back chat, I'm gonna bring them up and start having a conversation as well. First person I want to bring up is Jackie Holberg. Jackie Holberg is a licensed master social worker. She has so many layers to her. She does Tripping with Jack. She does Jack's advising. She's a good friend of mine. We do work on Virtual Wednesday, and she was a presenter and a vendor at the Virtual Wellness Experience. Jackie Holberg, welcome to the recap.
It was just wonderful, wonderful weekend to cap it off tonight with you and some of the other presenters. It makes my heart super happy.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Mara, for joining us too. Thank you, Coach Carrie, who had a good session going on. And I appreciate you, Jackie, for being here for the recap. And also Leslie Flowers, who is a gold member sponsor, 2350 network member, all around great human being, does a lot of stuff on mindset and, making sure you focus on that one goal. And if you can focus on one goal, you can have progress. Leslie Flowers, thank you for joining us and welcome to the recap. Thank you for presenting.
Oh, excited to be here and to see you all again. And a special thanks to everybody that came to the event, but also supported the event and reposted it and had lots to say and to support over the last couple of months. So thank you.
Yes, thank you too. And our next presenter, Mr. Top Voice HR himself, Felipe Cufino. Felipe had the pleasure of meeting him in person. We had a great conversation. We met at a library, did a live in the library in DC. He did a big presentation talking about HR, social media. And Felipe, thank you and welcome to the 2350 Effect, the recap.
Well, thank you, Damien, and it's great to be here. It was another great, successful event, and I say that because not of what I did and presented on, but all the other presentations I attended were just so amazingly valuable. And there's still a couple that have to go back, which is nice because you have that replay for 30 days, and sometimes you don't have the time to squeeze it all in. This gives you that time. So I'm looking forward to watching the last two that I didn't attend, but it was a great event, and I was honored to be a presenter. So thank you.
And thank you. And thank you for saying that. The great part about the virtual wellness experience is that you, as a presenter, you can present and you also can go to other people's presentations and get tips and also have the replay for 30 days. We have a packed crowd of great presenters, and I'm going to keep this thing rolling. This presenter talked about who helps the helpers. And she spoke in a way where it made me reflect back to the beginning of my career. She made me reflect back to years ago in my career and currently in my career too, because she spoke to her and her partner spoke to what social service and human services field is truly about. Please welcome Heather Jones to the recap. Heather, welcome to the recap.
Thank you. I don't even know if I'm able to follow. Like, that was great. I don't even think I have anything to say.
No worries. We have so many questions tonight, so I know you have so much to say because you have so much to share along with these amazing guests and hosts. And those people in the comments, continue to put your comments up. We'll definitely get to them. And if you have any questions, we'll definitely jump into them as well. We do have another guest coming up soon. She kind of stepped away a little bit. Okay, she's back. Welcome back. She talked about, turning her own situation into a positive situation. She does a lot of work and support with the unhoused community. She has started supporting in companies and building them up, and knew when to say, it is time for me to turn this over to someone else. Please welcome Martha to the recap. Martha, welcome to the recap. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to see all the friends here. And it's just been a really good last 2 days, just learning from everybody and how we can all support each other and learn from one another. I mean, there's so much beauty with that. So I'm really looking for our recap today. Thank you
so much. And Martha was our first time joining us. She navigated it like a pro. She had a great slide. She the great part about the recap, the summit, we get to talk about all the things that went into it. I can remember my first time at the summit, and I'm going to talk about that in 1 second. But as always, we always, if you know, start with how those people are like, what is this? Why is the phone ringing? Why are people laughing? This segment is called Laugh, Call, or Text. It is that thing in the last 7 days that made you laugh, call, or text. But, however, since we're coming off the virtual wellness experience, we're going to talk about that thing that made you either laugh out loud, call, or text somebody because of the virtual wellness experience. I'm going to go first, just so people can make sure people have their experience and their response. So mine was the first time that I ever did the virtual wellness experience. No, actually, it was a work-life balance summit. I couldn't get in my room. I was inside the room before, and then I couldn't get in. And the thing about Zoom and having it on Zoom events is that you think you can get in to your event, you can't, because you actually have to be logged into your event. I jumped in through the web browser. So I was inside somebody else's event. I had 2 laptops. Dr. Farron had to start it for me. I had to maneuver. And it kind of made me think about it as well because I was able to help people navigate through that process because I experienced it. And people were like, I can't get in this. And I was able to say, hey, it's okay. Let's take some time and help them navigate it through it. So experience sometimes is the best teacher. That is my laugh, my call, my text from the virtual wellness experience, paying it forward because I was in that chair before. All right. So we're going to go around the room in order of first, second. So we go Jackie, Leslie, Felipe, Heather, and then Martha. Jackie, what is your laugh, call, text from the virtual wellness experience?
So from this recent one, oh my gosh, I was on my phone nonstop, like texting staff. I was texting you, texting Dr. Tanya. In the private chats, I was doing stuff with Leslie and Josette, depending on which topic we were talking about. It was just such an interactive thing that I was like, my brain was intensely being educated, but yet I was having fun and socializing. It was so great. But for some reason, Damien or Dr. Tanya gave me permission to be the host for the first vendor section on Friday. And I had no clue. I knew it said start, but I thought all four of us that were considered the hosts were actually all able to start it if we want. And I'm like, okay, we got 2 minutes. I'm just going to click the button. I didn't know that meant if I had to leave, it just shut everybody down. Well, I had a huge doctor's appointment that I was like huffing it to. And I'm just like, hey, everybody, see ya. Have a great time. Click. And I'm like, I was pulling into my doctor's office and I saw there was a message in our group chat because Dr. Tanya and Damien, they do really good, like keeping us all connected as presenters. And Felipe's like, hey, did that end up abruptly for anybody else other than me? And I'm just like, it didn't for me because I was gone before it ended. And then Damien's like, yeah, Jackie was the host. I'm like, oh my gosh. So we make mistakes and we learn and we grow, and nobody threw eggs at me or anything like that. So I'm happy about that. So I kind of laughed at myself, like, what, you should have known better.
Yeah, that definitely was a good chuckle, laugh, call, text one because it ended, and I knew exactly what happened because Jackie was the first person in the room, and she was leaving and didn't transfer it over. But the good part about it is we were able to have all the vendor conversations, so that was a good part about it. So you have to laugh at it and have fun. So thank you, Jackie, for that. Leslie, how about you? What is your laugh, call, text?
The real laughter with the text were behind the scenes because Jackie approached a subject that has never been broached before. And so it had to be kept very diplomatic. And so I was getting to ask her funny questions in the background that I would never ask publicly, right? So I think that was a lot of it. It wasn't only with Jackie. And also, I absolutely loved, well, I know we're going to get to this, but I loved the presentation too with Heather and April. They were all really good presentations. And the best part about you, Jackie, dropping off early that time is instead of 15 minutes, we had 18 minutes or 19 minutes to go to the bathroom, to get something to eat or check our messages. Thank you.
Yes, and that definitely was a good one. It was a great presentation by Erica and Heather. So thank you so much. And that's also April was a laugh call text too as well. So Felipe, how about you?
All right, we're not trying to pick on Jackie here, but she made me laugh, and it wasn't because of how that ended. It was at the end of the almost the exact time. So I thought, was that just me, or I wasn't sure. But what made me laugh was when you were talking about your topic, and when you were sharing about, but I'm not talking about this. And you kept on alluding to, you're talking about relationships and dating, and you were just trying to be very delicate in how you did it, but you kept on going there, like, but it's not about this. And I don't know if you want to say what that was about, but it was just funny because I laughed because I knew what you were trying to do, and you were just being so nice and delicate about it, but it was funny to watch.
Oh, thank you for sharing that too. And a lot of stuff you're sharing, just like Leslie was sharing, makes me go back to the virtual wellness experience. And there's so many things. And the great part about it was the relationships that everybody was building in those sessions. We got to joke, we got to laugh. nobody took anything personal, and we all cared about each other. So I love the whole experience, and thank you for sharing that as well, Felipe, because Jackie was giving the disclaimer throughout. So thanks. Heather, how about you? What was your laugh, your cold text of the virtual wellness experience?
So, mine was also not necessarily behind the scenes of the virtual wellness experience, but Erica and I tried so hard to plan for how can we have a presentation that is uninterrupted, that does not have background noise, that does not. So she lives like about an hour, hour and a half away from me. So we coordinated, my kids, my dog, my partner, we're all home for spring break. And so my house was a madhouse, like a madhouse. And so Erica, my co-presenter, her children were at school. So we decided to do that. I went there. It was a journey because of construction and wrecks and traffic and all that kind of stuff. So it was definitely a journey, a lot longer than an hour to get there. And then we started talking, and neither of us had planned that if we were in the same room, both of our laptops would pick it up and we would create the echoing. So that made me laugh. And I just was saying, only me. So.
I love that. And those people who weren't there, and those people there, they know exactly what went on. It was great to see both of y'all were in the room. Nobody was expecting that. And then, with technology, sound picks up and it starts bumping into each other. So y'all were able to navigate the tech situation and be able to put an amazing presentation on. People are still talking about it to this day. It was a great presentation. And the great part about everybody's presentations is that so many people have been talking about it. We've been getting good feedback about it. But the part about it is that it connected and resonated with people. So that's what we wanted. And y'all created an experience. And then speaking of an experience, Martha took us into her world and gave us a better understanding visually and also through her videos. So Martha, what was your laugh, your cold text of the virtual wellness experience?
Yeah, well, before I went, the whole experience in itself was a journey, a positive one, because it taught me to learn how to use Canva better. I got really crafted with my presentation. And then I was under a little crisis with my fur baby during the live event. And so I was trying not to show that I was panicking inside, trying to be calm and collective. Um, and my presentation, the slides weren't showing, and I was really panicking inside because I had really prepared myself, but it turned out everything didn't go as planned, but I still got my message out. You got to walk through this journey with me and to see where I am, now. And I'm just so grateful, Damien, also for your text that I received after the event. And I did go back and rewatch, and I felt even more confident now that even though I was panicking inside and all the stress going on behind the scenes, everyone that was there was so warm. I felt like you were each holding my hand as I was going through the process. So I want to thank each of you for being so supportive. I felt a lot of love yesterday. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'm so glad you felt that. That's the whole goal of the virtual wellness experience, the work-life balance summit, is to give presenters an opportunity so they can own their session. And it isn't about us kind of micromanaging your session. It's always about support. I did a presentation, I did a PowerPoint, I did it in Canva. I didn't like it. I showed y'all on the screen that I had one, so you see evidence of me having one, and I just talked through my presentation. Leslie was like, the font is it's a little bit hard to see. And I was like, I thought the same thing too, Leslie. So I was like, I'm not even going to do that. And that was the first time me ever using Canva to do a presentation. I'm still using PowerPoint, and I like to navigate it that way. So, that might have been my second laugh, Coach Sex, because I saw it, I did it, and I was like, no, No. I can't go that way. So I do understand, but the difference between yours and mine, Martha, you had an excellent and beautiful presentation on camera. It was really put together, and it spoke to your personality and showed who you are. So thank you for sharing that with us as well. So we have so many questions. We have so many people in the chat. People in the chat, please ask as many questions as possible. Put them in there. We will incorporate them. Comment, respond. Also share with other people, because this is going to definitely be a great, quick flying conversation. First question is, since we went Jackie first, we'll go to Martha and back. Who was a new face you were glad to meet for the first time at the virtual wellness experience? Martha, you. How about you? Oh, whoa. See, it happens. Martha will be right back, but since Martha
she didn't like the question, that's why she left.
The internet didn't like the question. I'm quite sure that wasn't Martha. The internet didn't like the question.
I'm sorry. I'm on my phone. Sorry.
No worries.
I had so many, all the speakers that I didn't know, Dr. Hudgens, Heather and Erica, Carlise, Dr. Dr. R. Sorry, I can't pronounce the full name right now.
Dr. Rowe.
I mean, I got to learn from each of them, and I am definitely going to be following them because I'm not connected like I am with Lisa and Felipe and Jackie and you and Dr. Tanya. So I'm just grateful to be able to connect with other speakers that I've never met and to just listen to their shares. There was another doctor who I can't think of her name right now that was on there, and everyone just touched
Dr.
me
Mel.
personally. Yes, thank you so much. But their presentations just, to me as an advocate, I can totally fit them into what I do daily. So I was inspired by each of the speakers.
Thank you for that as well. And also make sure you connect with them. And if it's anybody who you want to connect with, let me know, and I'll make sure that you're connected with them as well. So thank you for sharing that, and thank you for coming back, internet. All right, Heather, how about you? Who was somebody you was excited to meet for the first time?
So I honestly was excited to meet everybody. I am a people person. I love meeting new people. One thing that I particularly appreciated was that there were such diverse backgrounds, right? When I go to a conference, I usually see people who are in my field who are presenting just kind of, here's the treatment, here's the things that you need to know for your field. But the really unique thing that I think I got out of this conference, at least, was getting to meet new people, but having a more well-rounded experience because everybody was different.
Thank you for that, because that was done intentionally. The whole goal of the virtual wellness experience and the professional work-life balance summit is to bring so many people together from different industries. And the thing about the virtual wellness experience originally, it was built to for educators, social workers, people who went into the coaching field, human resources, and it was one more social services, because at that point in time when we built it, people were being burnt down. They were leaving in mass exodus from their field. So that's why we created the virtual wellness experience. So thank you for saying that. All right. Felipe, how about you? Who's somebody you connected with?
I gotta say, the one that I was it was somebody who I'd never seen or met before, and I was just really pleasantly blown away by the presentation, was Dr. Claire Jacobs. Her just, not only just the way she delivered it, but the education and knowledge she had behind how your brain works and how it applies to you in burnout and different types of people who are high performers and things of that sort. But I'm always a fan of learning of why. Why does our brain do that? And she explained it so well, because I like to talk about the things about the brain that I know about, which isn't much. So when I know something, I talk about it. When I learn something new, I get excited about it. So she definitely shared a lot of insight, And again, it was, I think Leslie said this earlier in one of the sessions we had, she delivered it in such a clear, basic way that it wasn't condescending, but it was understandable. It didn't go over our heads. And so I think that was a really nice, pleasant surprise. And I look forward to following her and being connected to her.
I love that because she had a real, like, it felt like a roundtable conversation and then like a sense of community, free flow. And I love that you pointed that out. Leslie Flowers, how about you? I think I know who you want to pick.
Oh, should we have a bet? Well, it's between two people. One I already knew, but I learned in a whole new way. But I'll go with the answering the question properly, and then you'll win the prize. It was Felipe Cofino. I had never met him before, not a live wire like he is right now. And that's not true because I had Felipe slated for the male lead in the movie Errata as long as he would grow his hair to his shoulders. Right. Then he was up for the part. No, I think it was Carlise. She was talking about the shadow side of us, which after listening to her or as she was sharing, I realized, oh my God, that's what I'm teaching. It's just a different label. The shadow side are your fears, your stronger, darker side that is always fighting for the forefront. And the work that we all do is to recognize them so that we can counter them and outweigh them with conscious thought, conscious, intentional thinking that's positive whenever we can. So I would say that Carlise was the first or the newest person that I met, but I also enjoyed meeting Heather too. We had a couple of breakout rooms together, so we had a chance to chat a little bit. And yeah, so that was it for me. I had a great time. Thank you.
Nice, I like that. And Carlise was new to the virtual wellness experience as well. She did do a really great job, and I saw you both vibing and having conversations and exchanging information, knowledge during the process. I saw the transfer of information, so it was so great to see. Jackie, how about you? Who was a person that kind of stood out for you?
First off, I would have totally placed money that's who Leslie was going to pick for Carlise, because you could just watch her connect with her during the session. It was really a cute thing watching her comments and everything too. So I'm with Felipe. Dr. Claire, I knew she was going to be very, very well spoken in terms of the great information. However, I have been through so many burnout presentations. I've given burnout presentations. I'm over the word. So I wasn't overly excited about the topic. And Heather's shaking her head. They talked about it in their session too. So like literally maybe 30 seconds into her presentation, a minute and a half, I'm like, whoa, I've already learned something new. Maybe this is not going to be the same thing. And by 2 minutes in, it was like, locked in. I want to listen to this lady for the next 72 hours because I seriously thought she was analyzing me the entire time in the best way possible. I'm like, did Damien give her my information or something? But I also want to give a shout out to Damien, Dr. Tanya, and Dr. Mel, because I was fortunate enough to get to meet them all in person a few months ago during the Work-Life Balance Summit. So watching them as presenters after you've hung out with them in person and kind of had some free time that wasn't just like watching lives or doing different kind of educational stuff. It was fun to watch them in this role again after knowing them kind of behind the scenes. So it was like, you know, learning new people, even though you knew them type of a thing. So it was great.
And I'm glad you pointed that out because some of the topics were just so different. And some of the topics that I've sat in, I know you've sat in, we've all sat in, but the perspectives and the approach and the direction that the presenters took with them took us on a journey in a whole different way. And I've learned so much during that conversation as well. I was excited to meet, learn about everybody, meet everybody. You know, I haven't really known Erica and Heather like that until before the summit. Same thing with Carlise and Dr. Steve. But somebody who really stood out to me was a presenter. It was two of them that I haven't interacted with at all, which was Catherine and Bobby Clark. And I got to be in a breakout room with Bobby Clark, and we were having a conversation. He was asking about, you know, in the chat, like, where's my family from? something small world, a conversation, and we got to connect on LinkedIn, and now we are connection, and hopefully soon we can have a conversation as well.
He's going to be on
So,
Just Jackson Guest tomorrow night as one of the guests.
yeah, I saw that. So I'm gonna get to learn a little bit more about him too. So, but that's the great part about this is meeting and learning new people. I was connected with Catherine, but I got a chance to learn a little bit more about her through the conversation with Leslie. So thank you all for that as well. So it's so wow, we're at the 30-minute mark, and we only been on 2 questions, but we're gonna keep this thing rolling. What inspired you to share at the virtual wellness experience and do your presentation? And before answering that, let people know what your presentation was. So I'm gonna go jumble around now. So I'm gonna go to Heather first.
So Erica and I did a presentation called The Cost of Caring, Who Helps the Helpers. What inspired that is Erica and I are pretty much dinosaurs in our career. We are therapists. And so, one of the things that we learned and touched upon is 12 years is essentially and kind of typically the average career length of a therapist. I've been in 20 years. I think she's got a year or 2 on me. And we're looking around and we're going, the therapists that we know are sick, right? They have autoimmune conditions. They have mental health conditions. They have all kinds of things. And there are barriers to us accessing what we need to be healthy. And so Eric and I really started just looking around and having more and more conversation. And it has prompted us to start moving on it because it's just so prevalent.
And thank you for that. And thank you for being like self-aware of where you at in your career versus other people. Sometimes like when we're at a point in our career, we take for granted that the new generation is on a journey and path. And I'm telling you, it made me reflect on the beginning of my career. And I was like, Jackie, like, yeah, you're talking to me. You're talking to different stages of Damian Kinsey, and it was a great conversation as well. And I saw Leslie in the chat too, like responding, like, it was taking us all back to our career and what the current state of. So thank you so much for that. I'm gonna jump over to Felipe. And then Leslie.
For me, my topic was about how to use networking and social media to achieve your goals while maintaining your wellness, basically. And I chose that because you see so many teens, so many adults that are addicted to social media. Let's just call a spade a spade. And seeing how many people are trying to talk about and advocate for some better guidelines around social media. It's all around the children. And I felt like, what? The adults need this as much as the children do. I mean, let's be honest. And so I wanted to make sure that I talked about it from a personal standpoint and also a workplace standpoint or a career standpoint, because when you network and use social media, my main thing was do it with intent and build relationships. Don't use it just to doom scroll, because that's just going to get you down a rabbit hole that's very hard to climb up. And then you have to call someone like Heather to help you. And she's got busy. She's got 20 years of clients. She doesn't have time for new clients right now. So let's be an adult and let's manage our own social media addictions or challenges and find ways to build relationships that are a little more sustainable than doom scrolling.
I love that. I love how you talked about the limits of it. You were like, 2 hours is a good spot, and depending on what's going on. And then I didn't realize that I was the only person that you actually met in person. I was on the screen at that point. So yeah, I felt honored. Normally Jackie is the person who met everybody in person, but so it felt kind of good though. So thank you for sharing that. Leslie Flowers, on to you.
Well, and let me just say that Felipe really got into boundaries, like at work, and then when you go home, which I thought was that was really important part, that he even uses them, in his home office, and has actually, his family acknowledges and respects those boundaries. So I thought that those were really good action items that we could take like right away to protect our wellness. My presentation was a new one, and it was showing how what we think affects our body and physiology and nervous system, and it controls the brain. So I've been on a rant and concerned about uh, current education for people in psychology and therapy does not include the mind. And mind is not a new thing. They simply collapse together, and everything is the brain. The problem is that we need to know how to affect those chemicals in our brain. We need to know how to affect our physiology to feel better. And since we've been recording history for some 5,000 years, every great writing has said that it is what you're thinking that controls these things. So my concern has been that we've got a whole generation of therapists that can't tell you exactly how to manage these things simply and clearly using what you're thinking. So I decided this time that I would pull that in and give up on everybody needs to know right away, but to explain it to the people who are ready to realize that what you think is the source of all of your results. And we are 100% responsible for those results. Even if it looks like it's an outside condition and circumstance, just because we don't know why something is happening or how it works doesn't mean that it's not working. And so that was my gift to everybody, was to show that the source of all of our results, the dreams we have, everything we want is controlled by what we think and the vibration that thinking causes in your body, in your brain, in your heart, etc. So that's what inspired me, kind of getting off my high horse about that, although it still bothers me, because I want to go in and say, look, it's so easy. And it's been around for 125 years, but it has not caught up. So my concern is that these people, these lovely people, are diagnosing. And how much more could they help if they actually could say, look, this is exactly what you do to get the serotonin to calm down or to get up, rather than telling me there are all these chemicals that do this and this and this. Okay, so how do I actually affect that? Thank you.
Thank you. And I think you accomplished that, because a lot of your conversations about, it was critical thinking throughout about the brain and the mind and what's triggering, where it's coming from. And it was a common theme throughout. So thank you for sharing that as well. Martha, we're going to go over to you. And then
Yes. So my presentation was on my breakdown, became my breakthrough. And you came into my world as a program lead, and I walked you through each of the steps up until I had my breakdown, and then found out my new healthcare diagnosis. That is interesting, Leslie, what you just shared right now, that I got from my mental health specialist. But it was just an interesting way to get through those diagnoses, learn about them, and then empower myself so that I can empower the unhoused community that I get to work with. Now I'm advocating for mental health support. And just sharing my journey with them has even opened up doors in that space too. And then I've gotten to bring you into my space, and I'm so thankful. Now you've gotten to learn a little bit more of me on a personal level and also in the corporate world.
yes, definitely thank you for that. Because you did definitely, like I said earlier, you brought us into your world, your space, and it was kind of like taking a journey and walking through from and you made us walk through 2 different states at minimum. So it was so great that you did that as well. So and those people who do have access to the virtual wellness experience, go back to Martha, Heather, and Erica's live. I'm telling you, you are going to learn so much. You're going to have a different appreciation for the field and these individuals, Felipe as well, and even learning more about the part about it is I know Jackie, I know Felipe, I know Leslie and Martha, and I still learn more about them. I learned so much more about them, and it definitely go back and watch Team Replay. Jackie, how about you?
Yeah, so I love the summits and the experiences that you and Dr. Tanya put on, but I've spoken many of them. So I planned on just attending this time, and I wasn't going to be a speaker. I kind of talked to you about it a few times, Damien, because I'm like, people have heard my voice a lot. I tend to talk about similar things in relationships. But really, since August, when my son had his accident, I've really looked at relationships differently. And I've had a lot of changed friendships. I've had a lot of things that kind of blew up in my face that I wasn't expecting. And I really started looking more into people being angry and people taking that violence out. Because most of you know that I work in the criminal world with people that have broken the law or been victimized. And I've worked in the domestic violence arena quite often, and I've really been circling back to that a lot with so much that's going on in the world right now in that area. And I've been working my side business, Just X Advising, to focus on different consulting and different working on various mindset, but really to make sure that you're feeling good in yourself to move on in a different area. And over the past few months, it's really switched to more focus on romance in terms of whether you're dating, whether you're happy being single, whether you are in a relationship, whether you're married. And when you think about it, there's so many people that are unhappy and they're partnered up, or they're unhappy because they can't date anybody that they like or that calls them back or anything like that. And we take that anger into that one-on-one relationship and we put it out into that universe, and it's not always very positive. There are shootings, there are killings, there are all kinds of the stuff that just doesn't need to happen. And when you track it back, so much of it is in regards to their individual dynamics with a partner, somebody that maybe they broke up with a long time ago or broke their heart a while ago. And so I really, wanted to make sure you guys were okay with this, because my topic was healthy relationships and increasing intimacy, because it circles all around. We are mammals that need some form of intimate connection, whether it's physical, whether it's touching your mind, your soul, however you look at it. And I was very thankful on the support I got with this topic, because it could have been something that people wanted to run away from or not show up for that session or turn their cameras off. And there was a lot of really powerful interaction. And I really appreciate that, because it's something that was really taboo for many of us growing up. You're not supposed to talk about that. You're not supposed to think about that. You're never supposed to get a divorce. And it's something that a lot of us, I think, have shame and guilt over. And that's why some of this stuff is going on. So thank you for letting me talk about that topic, Damien, and Dr. Tanya too.
No, thank you for presenting, and thank you, Leslie and Jackie, because Leslie and Jackie were both on the fence, like, I'm not presenting this year. I'll be a vendor and a sponsor. But y'all presented, and it was great to hear y'all. And it was different from your normal presentations, both of you. So I got a lot new out of it. So thank you for both sharing that as well. My topic, myself and Dr. Farron did a topic, a shared topic. I did my own topic. She did her own topic, but we did a group topic. And I want to kind of highlight this. We talked about, is it wrong to be selfish? And we had a conversation. And the reason why we wanted to talk about that is because a lot of times we think it's okay to keep pouring into everybody else but ourselves. I talked about living a 3-4-5 on a 3-4-5 hours sleep, and not being able to rest and everything catching up. And we wanted to talk about the importance of, taking yourself serious, prioritizing you, and not feeling bad about being selfish and it's not being wrong, because you can't show up for anybody else if you don't show up for yourself. So that's something we wanted to talk about, because we're both in fields where, historically we've been the ones who put ourselves on the back burner. So thank you for that. So yes, keep throwing in the responses. Thank you, Sharita, for joining us. It's early in the morning. Jay, thank you for joining us as well. Jay had a question. Anybody can take this question. Why do we fall? So we can learn to pick ourselves up. I think I can answer this quickly too as well. I think life is about learning. If you don't learn from your mistakes, you're not evolving. You're not growing. The first thing I can even think about as a kid is you have the little young person who's trying to walk and falls and gets up, and pretty soon they start walking. Had the little baby given up, they wouldn't be able to walk. So life is about learning through adversity, obstacles, and what goes on around us. I hope that answers your question. Um, we have so many more questions to ask. We're gonna get through this, and we're making good time. Which wellness tip from another presenter that truly resonated with you? We're gonna let's start with Leslie.
I was just noticing that you skipped a question, I think, but that's okay. That's all right. So what is oh no, I was looking at what is something new. Okay, which wellness tip from another presentation? I don't know if this is really a wellness tip, but there was something about Dr. Rowe's presentation about the way she managed the presentation that told me that I was watching a master and that she was doing things I hadn't even done yet. Or that I could do, but I hadn't thought of. So for me to do a presentation the way she did hers, and hers was all about dreaming big, showed me that I could even be more balanced and more well while I added the things I learned from her. I don't know if that's a fair answer, but it's my answer.
No, that is a great answer. It's relatable to me because I was going to go the same way. Because me and Dr. Farron was talking an hour before she did hers about what she was doing in there, not knowing that that's what she was doing in there. And we were talking and communicating about it. And that's the great part about it. And when she did it, I was like, how when somebody does something that you're thinking, and when they do it, it validates that you're on the right path. That is what she did. And I was like, this is amazing. And I loved every minute of it. For those people go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to say it was inspiring.
Yes.
Me. Motivating is one thing, but inspiration actually will have me take action. And that was something that really inspired me. It was unexpected and really quite amazing.
For me, it was motivating because I already had the thought. I was already inspired by me and Dr. Farron's conversation. And then when she did it, it confirmed that it can be done. And it was a great point. So I already did mine because we had the same one. So I'm gonna move on to Martha.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I really, really enjoyed Dr. Steve Hudgens' presentation. And he touched on a very sensitive subject, which is families who are raising, I used to call it broken families because I come from that, but I shouldn't call it that because it's parents that didn't work out and it ended. But just listening to him validate that step parents, they have a role in life. And he shared something that stayed with me: let parents discipline their own children. And that really sat with me. And I just loved the way he presented in a very warm space and sharing his own personal experience. To me, that was just solid. Just solid. I loved it.
Thank you for that, because he was talking about the Mosaic family, which and he brought us into the world of the Mosaic family, and the reason why he changed it from and focused on that from instead of blended family or step family. And it was so great to hear, because there's so many layers to it, components. Felipe, how about you?
So I echo what Martha says about Dr. Hudgens, because I wasn't sure what they meant by mosaic family, so I was curious, and it definitely was something I could relate to. But I can't remember if this was Dr. Jacobs or Lee Forrester that was talking about shadowing. Who was talking about shadowing? Do y'all remember? I want to say it was Dr. Jacobs.
It was Carlise.
No, that was Carlise.
Oh, was that Carlise?
Carlise.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you, because that was something that stayed with me, and I really sat with it and reflected on that, and I had some revelations that I don't think I was very aware of, and some that I kind of knew were there, but it was really powerful and a very good way to do some self-discovery about yourself and realize that some of the stuff from your upbringing, not faulting your parents per se, but as a result of how they parented you, you're doing certain things now as a result of it. And it sounds very simple and basic, but when she puts it down in the way she delivered it, it was really powerful. And I gotta go back also to Heather and Erica. Your presentation, I thought it was gonna be more about caregivers at first, and being someone that's been a caregiver and caregiver, I was looking forward to hearing that, and then hearing you talk about just the industry and just the helpers in the industry. My daughter is a certified licensed social worker, and she's a supervisor now. And I had a long talk with her after your session about it, and she's like, "Do you remember when I said I was going back and forth about research and other areas?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Because I don't want to burn out. I don't want to be that person. I want to make sure that I don't repeat the mistakes that I've seen or heard from other people, or that people have said, hey, make this a priority because I didn't get a chance to." And so that opened up a wonderful conversation with my daughter that was just so valuable. So thank you for that.
And Heather, you want to go now? Since Felipe opened the door, that is what they call a good segue.
Sure. And thank you for the compliment. I'm really, really glad. If you need to talk later about the shadow work stuff, just give me a call. We'll figure it in. I'm kidding. So one thing, I was trying to find a way to say it, but I hadn't been able to put it into words. And so I really appreciated when Dr. Claire was talking about boundaries and how it could be kind of in the moment. I forget what she called it, or structural. And I think I had been struggling with how to define structural. And she said it, and I was, oh, yeah, duh, that makes sense. And it was one of those moments where it just kind of clicked. All these things that I had been trying to string together and talk about together, and I hadn't been able to make it work. But she said that, and it just really resonated with me.
And thank you for that, Dr. Claire. She couldn't join us tonight, but she sent some messages, and I told her that everybody appreciated what she did, and she did have a great presentation. So thank you for putting it out there. So many great presentations out there. Who didn't go? Jackie, right?
Just me. Yep. So I'm kind of okay that Dr. Claire wasn't here tonight, because I think I'd be sitting here fangirling the whole time, because it's like I'm just like listening to her like this, like keep talking. But I learned something from every single presentation, multiple things from most of them. Some people that I have heard before, have heard similar topics, still they just twisted stuff in a way that just really resonated. And pretty much almost every session, I will be rewatching myself over the next 30 days, because you do hear it differently the next time, or if you're in a different capacity, where I was sitting here the whole time, when I was able to be in the sessions. And when I watch them on replay, I'm kind of chilling on the couch, in my chair, in the bed, something like that. And you routine it differently. But Lee Forrester, oh my goodness, I tell you, she makes me feel like I can do anything and be the president or fly or jump to the moon, anything. She just gives me all that reminders that we deserve to do what we deserve to do. And I keep thinking about her talking about removing 80% of her stuff when she moved countries. And I was looking around my little tiny apartment like, I don't know if I could remove 10% without kind of flipping out right now. And so that is going to be one of my challenges, is to start purging, because we also heard about it in a couple other topics about when your space feels more aligned, you feel more productive, you feel more energetic, you are more focused. And sometimes I look at some of the stuff around here and I'm like, that doesn't need to be there. And I keep focusing on it when I'm in a session or something. So I learned so much, but I'm definitely going to take away some of what Lee said and start that right now.
And thank you for sharing that. Lee has so many great quotes that I wrote down, and there was so many great takeaways as well. The next question is, and I did push this back on purpose, Leslie. What is something new, if anything, that you discovered about yourself as a presenter? Leslie, let's start with you.
Well, I really learned that I could coast through these 2 days without any anxiety, just kind of, because the presentations were 45 minutes, it helped me balance my day, make sure I got food, could walk around a little bit, and I could go off screen or on screen. So I didn't feel tied for 6 hours each day. I felt like it was an ongoing rhythmic process, and that I could come in almost like jumping rope, if you will, like that I could come in and go out as I please and get whatever there is that I need to get. And I also loved each morning when we got together and kind of, talked with everybody who showed up, like a coffee meet and greet. That was also a lot of fun. So I learned that about myself, that I could pace myself and not have any anxiety about what I wasn't getting done, because it was laid out in a very comfortable way for me. Now, I will say that even with that, I didn't do much today. I was resting.
I think a lot of us was there too with you.
I know. I was, other than a really nice meal at lunch, I just gave myself, as part of wellness, you're taking this day off today. Do whatever it is that you like. Go out and have a nice meal, and don't feel like you have to go into the office or do anything. And so that's what I did until William's show. Well, no, a little bit with Felipe's show at 11, and then I took a big long nap, and then and then William had a show, and then Carrie had a show, and then this show. So it's been a beautiful weekend. It really has. So thank you.
Thank you. Martha.
Yeah, what I learned, actually, I did declutter today. So that's so interesting that came up. I was listening to Lee's presentation while I was decluttering, and it feels good. It does feel lighter, and I do feel more productive today. Um, and also, what my real takeaway here also was too, that even though things are not working as they're planned, you could still get your message out. So all the tools I've learned in therapy and through a lot of the friends here, I just said, yeah, just go, just get it done. And it came out as it came out, and just be yourself. I mean, that's it. You don't have to read anything. Just be yourself. That's all. Just be you.
I like that. Thank you so much for that. Just be you. And I'm glad that everybody was able to be themselves. Hopefully, we created an environment that you can be you and be a presenter. Heather, how about you?
So mine is actually kind of funny, I think. So I mentioned I'm a dinosaur in my career, which means I meet one-on-one, I do groups, I write on whiteboards. I do not do PowerPoints anymore. I haven't put one together since like grad school. So I'm looking at this and I cannot remember how to do it. And so Erica and I, we had like this writers retreat. We like got a little VRBO for the weekend so we could just sit and talk and write and get our presentation planned out and practiced. And I spent the whole time going, I can't stand all this. I don't know how to do it. And okay, it wasn't the entire time. But if you noticed, our presentation did not have a slideshow because I got about 8 slides in and I thought, well, this is it. Either I go back to school now because I can't turn the clock back, or I find a teenager to do this for me. And there were no teens to be found.
Oh, we didn't even notice that it wasn't a slide. It was a great conversational speech. Sometimes you have to just stand in the room, and you both stood in the room, and it resonates.
Well, thank you. In that case, I had the best slideshow ever. You guys would not have even believed how wonderful it was. It would have changed your life.
Hey, I showed the front of the slide and turned it right off. So me and Dr. Farron had a slideshow, so don't even worry about it. That's the beauty of it. Do it your way, and everybody did it their way, and I loved it. Felipe and Jackie, right? Those are the only 2 ones left.
Who's first?
Right. Felipe, you can go first.
Oh, all right. So one of the things that I was pleasantly surprised, or not pleasantly happy to see, because I talk about curiosity so much, and I talk about the value of being curious and being a forever learner. And I always say I never want to lose that myself. And I did a training about 3 weeks ago, and I didn't realize it then, but I realized it during this conference here when I was presenting, was that my curiosity was still there because I started trying things that I'd never used before, like the polls and having certain documents and links. And that's where I realized that curiosity, given if you have time for it, I was just happy that I still had it, and it was a part of a presenter thing that I do, because sometimes I worry about, like, I've always been using PowerPoint, and I feel like that's old school because of Canva. So I used Canva for the first time at this presentation, but there was things I missed about PowerPoint, I'll be honest with you. So, and you know what, Heather? In the future, you're not going to need a teenager. You'll just have AI do it for you. That'll be even easier.
Well, I would love to like say that I didn't try to use AI. I tried Claude. I did try Canva. I tried like ChatGPT. I tried a lot of them.
Next year, they'll have it simplified where you say, this is what I want, make it look pretty, and they'll make it look pretty.
I hope so. I'm going to cross my fingers.
But yeah, so that was my big thing. That takeaway is that just I was happy to see that curiosity has carried into my presentation skills.
And thank you for sharing that tip too. Coach Carrie shared it as well. So that's the beauty of it. People are sharing so much. Jackie, how about you?
I love Heather's honesty. That's so great. So for me, I talk a lot. You guys know that. I talk very fast. I think I've slowed down a lot over the years in some of these presentations, but I do a lot of court groups at my day job. So they are not happy to be listening to me talk for almost 2 hours straight. It is a lot. And I've really redeveloped the way that I do my group presentations at work for people that are told to come there. And I really, when I still present in front of people that are for more of an educational purpose, I worry a little bit too much because I'm way more relaxed and informal with my court groups because I don't want to come across, that I'm the facilitator and I'm better or something like that. And so sometimes I just get that little bit of angst before doing a presentation that I kind of almost at the end of it, I'm like, oh, I don't even remember what happened type of a thing. And I really felt like this time I had way more fun being a presenter without that worry of what if I screw up on the technology or what if I miss a comment in the chat. And I realized that when I was having more fun with it, and maybe it was because it was more of a silly topic, or I mean, I think very important topic, but it was more of a interesting topic than some of the more strict ones I've done before, the more focused ones, I guess you could say, that I was able to remember a lot of the comments that people gave, a lot of the things that happened during the actual presentation, and it felt really good. Now, whether that showed to the other people, I'm not sure, but for me internally, it actually felt like one of the better internal vibes where I didn't get the little nervous stomach or anything like that. It just felt really comfortable. And I know a lot of that is because of just the vibe being on the second day and seeing how great the first day went and just seeing all the camaraderie and stuff too. But I really tried to enjoy being the presenter, not just learning all this stuff, which I thought was pretty cool.
Thank you for that. It showed. It was really fun. The whole thing was fun. Last thing we do, because we always close with a quote. So when closing with a quote, give me a quote that stood out to you from the virtual wellness experience, whether it's your quote or someone else's. We're gonna go. We started with Martha was last, so we're gonna go with Martha first.
There were so many. I can't think of one quote, but I do want to share something. I
Okay.
want to acknowledge all of the guests that were there because I got to know them more. And it was really nice to see Christy's beautiful face on camera, and her comments and the feedback. And so I just want to say thank you. But I don't have a quote. I'm sorry.
No worries. That's good enough. I appreciate that. You know, the praising Christy for her greatness is a quote in itself. So thank you, Heather. How about you?
So I also am not able to think of a quote. I actually am trying to think of a quote from my own presentation. Can't even bring one of those up. So I'm going to stick with one of my favorite quotes of all time. And it is, just because it would have been different doesn't mean it would have been better.
I like that. Felipe, how about you? So I can move Felipe over.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I honestly can only remember my own quote, and I feel like that's selfish. But I'm going to quote you actually by saying it's okay to be selfish. So there's the first part of it from your presentation. And the quote that I had was, if social media is costing you your wellness, it's too expensive.
I like that. And thank you for that. All right. Leslie, how about you?
Just because we don't know yet how something works doesn't mean it's not working.
I like that. Who said that?
I did.
Nice. Give yourself credit.
Okay.
All right. And Jackie, how about you?
So I can't remember word for word, but Catherine put one in the chat during one of the sessions. It might have been when Leslie was talking, and it really resonated with me, and I loved it. And I think I even screenshotted it, but I didn't want to pull my phone up right now. So I'm going to be like Felipe and say one of my quotes, and I'm going to say, if you are in a relationship and you can take your clothes off for somebody, but you can't use your word and tell them what you want and what you need, why are you willing to do that? Your words are more important than you believe. So good luck to you guys using those words, whether you're a presenter, whether you're a relationship person, whether you're at work, whether you're just around the house. Use your words.
I like that. I'm gonna go with a quote that kind of makes sense for me. It was a few that kind of stood out for me, and I'm gonna give you, like as they say in sports, the fastest 2 minutes of quotes. Dr. Farron had a good one that said you have to continue to work at your relationship. People look at her relationship and want to be like them, and she tells people that their relationship is unique. Have your own relationship and work at it, and keep dating your partner. Jackie, you talked about the importance of being in those situations, and the importance of dating yourself and also caring for yourself. So that kind of stood out for me. Leslie Flowers talked about the mind, the brain, and and the importance of it and what is driving you as a person, an individual. Felipe talked about, taking that time away from social media and spending time with your family. And he laughed and joked about how he supports his wife with taking time away too as well. So, which is really cool to hear, and it's the relationships that go on with people around us, and it really full circle. Martha talked about the importance of supporting the community, but also saying and knowing when it's time to move on from a situation that you're attached to, and it's okay to move on. Heather and Erica talked about the importance of who helps to help us, but they really talked about, and which was it was funny, but it's so true. You know what, you sound like you signed up for this, and people saying that to you, and you get paid in other ways, and Heather made it clear, tell that to the electric company, because it's a thankless job that people are in the field, and I thank everybody for being in the field and space. And Lee had a great quote, which she said, she said she was at the gym in the morning, and one of the trainers talked about, you only have one life to live. Or she said, no. You live life every day. You die once. And that kind of segues into what the 2350 network is all about. Don't let 10 minutes of a bad moment disrupt the other 23 hours and 50 minutes of your day. Live life to your fullest. I'd like to thank everybody who's out there who joined us for this presentation, for the virtual wellness experience, who joined us for the recap. This was definitely a great, fun time and experience. And the great part about this is, join us in October for the Professional Work-Life Balance Summit, which is on the website, creativeliving.ideas.com. You can go to it. You can get your tickets early. I know individuals like to take time to try to get their ticket, and then last minute happens. You can get your ticket at the at creativeliving.ideas.com. That's the virtual wellness experience one. Here's the work-life balance one. And you can get your tickets for the early bird special. Get it early. Come to it. We want you to join us. We want it to be a fun, interactive, and cool experience. And feel free to reach out to me, myself, and Dr. Farron, or any of these amazing presenters. Connect with them. They were amazing. And if you had to do something else, go back and watch their sessions. I'm telling you, it was definitely a great session. You learned so much. And even if you're a presenter or a coach, you're going to learn different tips about how to be a presenter from watching them. It was definitely a master class on every level of being a presenter. How to navigate when you mess up and nobody knows. How to be able to use timing, how to be able to use polls, how to be able to use breakout rooms, how to be able to do a roundtable discussion, a TED Talk version of it, how to be able to use PowerPoint, Canva, so many things to it. Thank you so much. Myself and Dr. Farron will be on vacation for the next 2 weeks with for the next 2 weeks. This has definitely been fun and exciting, but it has been exhausting as well. So we are going to take a break. And thank you all for joining us. Have a good one. And thank you for the presenters and the recap. You have watched the recap of the virtual wellness experience.
Bye.